Okay, friends, today we'll be learning about the fractures of the upper limb. So we have learned in orthopedics, we have came across a lot of fractures, named fractures, right? Like Galeazzi fracture, Monteggia fracture. So we have came across so many named fractures, and we'll be learning a few of those fractures, and we'll be learning how we can remember the location of these fractures. Okay, in a simple way. It may be helpful to some of you people that on how to remember these fractures. So we'll be dealing with the fractures of the Monteggia fracture, Galeazzi fracture, Colles, Smith fracture, Chauffeur's fracture, Barton's fracture, Bennett fracture, Rolando, and Boxer's fracture. These are the fractures we'll be learning about. So first, before moving into the deep into the topic, but let us see about our hand. We should, as we all know, in our arm we have the humerus bone. Then in our forearm we have the radius and ulna, in which the ulna is the medial bone and radius is the lateral bone. Then comes the carpal bones, and from that comes into our hands comes the metacarpals and phalanges. So first we shall deal about the Monteggia fracture. So before that, how can you remember the location? First we'll deal about Monteggia and Galeazzi fracture. So just remember that all the fractures we'll be learning today will be from the proximal to the distal region. Okay. So we'll start from the proximal side, then towards the distal part, that is towards our hand. So remember the word Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, in Mahatma Gandhi, the first letters are M and G. Okay, so M stands for Monteggia fracture. So it is the most proximal one. So we'll write that the fracture in the proximal third of ulna and dislocation of the head of the radius is known as Monteggia fracture. Okay, so just remember wherever the fracture is, if in this case the fracture is in the proximal third, right? So the joint which is nearby to this fracture will be, of course, the radio-ulnar joint, or will be this region. So remember like this: a fracture in the proximal third of ulna and a dislocation of the head of the radius. This is the fracture of Monteggia fractures. Okay, next. So this is how. So you can some of you may have doubt whether how can you remember whether the fracture is in how can you remember whether how the fracture of Monteggia is in ulna or in radius, because it can be in proximal ulna or it can be in proximal radius, right? So to remember that Monteggia fracture starts with M. Okay, and medial bone, as we all know, is ulna. It also starts with M. So you can remember that M for Monteggia, M for medial bone, that is ulna, as it's over here. Okay. This is how you can remember the Monteggia fracture. Next, moving into the next. Before I'll show you this is the X-ray of the Monteggia fracture. As you can see, there is a fracture in the proximal third of the ulna, along with dislocation of the radial head. So this is Monteggia fracture. Next, we shall learn about the G, that is the Galeazzi fracture. Galeazzi fracture is like almost the reverse or the opposite of the Monteggia fracture. In this case, it will be in the distal third. Okay, Monteggia is in the proximal third of ulna. Here will be in the distal third, and other than that, the other one was what in Monteggia was in the ulna. In this case, it will be in the radius. So a fracture in the distal third of the radius is Galeazzi fracture. And like I said, there will also be a joint involved. So that is a joint nearby this fracture will be nothing but the radio-ulnar joint. So as you can see here, the distal third radial fracture plus dislocation of the radio-ulnar joint. This is the Galeazzi fracture. Okay. This is how you just write the exactly opposite of Monteggia fracture is Galeazzi fracture. Okay. Next, we shall learn is about the, before that I'll show you the X-ray. This is the X-ray of Galeazzi fracture. Like I said, it is a fracture in the distal third of the radius, along with, as you can see in the upper the diagram, there is a dislocation of the radio-ulnar joint, distal radio-ulnar joint. Next, after Mahatma Gandhi, we have done with the Monteggia and Galeazzi fracture. Now let us move into the one of the most important fractures, named fracture, that is the Colles fracture. It is just at the same level as Galeazzi fracture. Remember, Colles fracture, Smith fracture, and Galeazzi fracture are at the same location. That is why I have written all of them in the same line. Okay, that is all these fractures are in the same location, that is distal third of the radius. So how can you remember that? But how is these fractures in the same location? Simple. We all know that this is how we write C. We will start from here and we will end like this. How do we write G? It is also in the same way as C, but then we'll complete it a little bit more. Right, it's almost a extra a modification of C, right? So that is C and G are in almost same way we write it. So we can say that they are in the same location. The fracture of Colles fracture and Galeazzi fracture. Okay. So in this case, Colles fracture is the fracture in a distal third. And you should know more things that in the Colles fracture is the fracture of the distal third with dorsal tilt and other displacements. As you should know, in Colles fracture there are around 6 displacements, something like impaction, supination, lateral tilt, lateral displacement, dorsal tilt, dorsal displacement. These are the displacements in Colles fracture. So there are 2 fractures in our case. One is Colles and Smith. Smith fracture is the reverse of Colles fracture. Okay, that is, it is the same location, but there will be a ventral tilt in that case. In case of Colles fracture, there will be a, but I say there will be a dorsal tilt. So in this case, a fracture in the fracture in the distal third of radius with dorsal tilt and other displacements is the Colles fracture. Okay. So as you can see here, this is the fracture X-ray showing Colles fracture. There is a fracture line in the distal third of radius, and there may be a dorsal tilt in the dislocation of the fragment. Next, we shall more learn about the opposite. Like I said, what is it? The reverse of Colles fracture is Smith fracture. Okay, same. The fracture is itself in the distal third of radius. There is no difference. But the only difference is that instead of dorsal tilt, there will be a ventral tilt. Dorsal tilt is seen in Colles fracture and ventral tilt is seen in Smith fracture. If you ask me how can you remember that, it is simple. I have remembered in such a way that we write Colles fracture like this, C-O-L-L-E-S, right? Remember the second letter, it starts with O. Second letter is O. Dorsal, the second letter is also O, right? So you can say the Colles fracture has dorsal tilt. Okay, so the Smith fracture will have ventral tilt, just the opposite of that. This is how I remember Colles and Colles fractures and Smith fracture. So this is the as you can see here, Colles fracture there will be dorsal tilt or outward displacement. In case of Smith fracture, it is the exact opposite or reverse of Colles fracture, which is inward tilt or ventral tilt will be seen in Smith's fracture. Okay. Next, we shall learn about fracture that is Chauffeur's fracture. Nothing is there. And I have remembered in such a way that as I have written here, this is the Colles fracture, right? In this Colles fracture, as you can see, from Colles it starts with C. If we, from this part, if we, move towards the distal portion, what comes? The styloid portion comes, right? Once again, so you can see this is Colles fracture. From this side, when we move distally, the portion that we come is the radial styloid process. So just remember that C and C are at the same level. Colles fracture and the Chauffeur's fracture, not same site, at the same level. So when you move towards the distal side, you will get the styloid process, and the fracture of the styloid radial process is known as the Chauffeur's fracture. Okay, this is the Chauffeur's fracture seen at the radial styloid. That's all about Chauffeur's fracture. Okay, so this is the X-ray of Chauffeur's fracture. As you can see, there is a fracture line at the radial styloid process. Okay. So we are now almost done with almost all the fractures of the forearm. Now we are moving into certain, what you call it as fractures starting with the letter B. So I want you to remember something is that from distal to proximal, from proximal to distal, we have reached our hand. And remember that we all know the base of our upper limb is nothing but our hand. The base, it starts with B, right? So remember that every fracture starting with the letter B comes at our hand. Okay, As you can see here, Barton's fracture, Bennett fracture, Boxer's fracture. Everything is in this region itself. Okay, the region of hand. So first we'll be learning about three fractures. There's Barton's fracture, there is Bennett fracture, and there is Boxer's fracture. So first we'll go in alphabetical order. First comes BA, then comes BE, then comes BO. So we'll learn about Barton's fracture. Okay, BA. Okay. So what is this Barton's fracture? Barton's fracture is nothing. To remember Barton's fracture, just remember this thing, BARTON. ART stands for articular surface of radius. That is the fracture seen in the distal articular surface of radius. Along with, what do we have in that area? We have the carpal bones. That is, the carpal bones will be displaced either anteriorly or posteriorly. This is Barton's fracture. So once again, Barton's fracture is nothing but a fracture in the distal articular surface of the radius with the displacement of the carpal bones. This is the rest bones or carpal bones is the displacement. Okay, this is Barton's fracture. Remember, just remember ART of Barton. It stands for articular surface. Okay, this is how you remember Barton's fracture. Okay, this is Barton's fracture. There will be you can see slightly there's a fracture in the distal articular surface, and you can see the carpal bones are slightly displaced here and there. So this is Barton's fracture. Next we shall learn is about the Bennett fracture. Okay, so what is this Bennett fracture? Is BE. It is simple. To remember it, we can say that Bennett, as we all know, remember the word net. We all know that internet is for us, we need internet. We can't live without internet, right? So internet is always our first priority. So since internet is our first priority, we can remember that Bennett is the seen in the first metacarpal bone. Okay. So I can see here, this is the first metacarpal. Our thumb is the first metacarpal. Then comes second, then third and fourth and all. Okay. So the first metacarpal bone, that is a fracture in the base of the first metacarpal bone, is known as the Bennett fracture. Okay. As you can see, I'll zoom it. Okay, a fracture in the base of the first metacarpal bone is known as the Bennett fracture. Along with that, a joint will be involved. That is, what is a joint seen in this area? Proximal to it, as we can see, is the metacarpocarpal joint. Right, metacarpocarpal joint is the joint, as you can see here. This joint will also be displaced. So there will be a fracture at the base of the first metacarpal. Okay, and a displacement of the or dislocation of the carpometacarpal joint. This is Bennett fracture. Okay, how to remember? Bennett, N-E-T, net is our first priority. We need net, so it is seen in first metacarpal. And there's an extra fracture to remember in this case. Is one nothing but what you call it as okay. In this case, it's an extra fracture, that is Rolando's fracture. Rolando's fracture is also at the same location as that of the Bennett fracture. How to remember that is simple. Rolando fracture, as you can know, we know this. Remember this thing. Rolando, as we all know, it is also similar to the name Ronaldo. We all know Ronaldo is the #1 football player, right? So remember, I can say this is seen in the first metacarpal. Since he is the #1 player, it is seen in the first metacarpal. You can remember like that as well. So Rolando fracture is seen just like Bennett fracture is seen at the base of the first metacarpal bone. That is, as you can see, Bennett and Rolando fracture are at the same location. In case of Bennett, there was in addition there was dislocation of the metacarpocarpal joint. In case of Rolando fracture, there is only a fracture line at the base of the first metacarpal. Okay. So this is how we're done with Barton's, Bennett and Rolando. And the last fracture or last named fracture we'll be learning as the Boxer's fracture. So before that, I'll show you the X-ray of the Bennett fracture. Just Bennett fracture, a fracture at the base of the first metacarpal, right? Along with the displacement of the metacarpocarpal joint. So in this case, as you can see, there is a fracture line at the base of the first metacarpal with the dislocation of the joint. Okay. This is a Rolando fracture. As you can see here, there is no dislocation of the joint, but you can see here just a fracture only at the base of the first metacarpal. This is Rolando fracture. Next, we shall learn about the last one, that is a Boxer's fracture. How can you remember? As we all know, Boxer's fracture is seen in those in boxers, right? That is, it is due to their punching of the other fist. So to remember the location of Boxer's fracture, just remember Boxer has 5 letters, right? Boxer has 5 letters, right? Boxer has 5. Just look at this part. Boxer has 5 letters, and so it is seen in the 5th metacarpal. BOXER, 5 letters. So it is seen in the 5th metacarpal bone. Okay, so this is how you remember Boxer's fracture. So as we all know, when you're punching another person's fist, of course the distal portion will be the one coming in contact, right? The proximal portion will not come in contact while we are hitting someone. Only the distal portion of our fingers will be hitting the person's fist. So the distal region of the 5th metacarpal, or in other case you can say fracture of the neck of the 5th metacarpal. As you can see here, fracture of the neck of the 5th metacarpal is known as the Boxer's fracture, right? So this is Boxer's fracture. As you can see here, it is usually seen in boxers. It is seen in the neck of the 5th metacarpal. These are the named fractures that we will be learning. So once